isolated, alone, solitary. Not loneliness. I've become too used to that. Not solitude, just separateness. I'm used to alone, being controlled, apart from others. ME is an exacting lever, casting away all others perfectly, leaving me resting in his fearful arms, secluded, alone.
You know when you wake up in the morning and you feel like your head is just full of stuff? You know what I mean? Crammed, so much that not one more bit can get in. I know that you've tried sideways, upside down, shaking your head just in case some of it will fall out. Look, don't laugh. I've tried it myself out of desperation. You want to get out somewhere, anywhere. So, let's take a beautiful, cold, crisp autumn day. Not today, for instance. That's why we're all sitting here behind these screens. A non-rainy, wet day. Crispy. The sun is beaming and the blue sky is making everything feel alive. The trees have turned from a green to a golden brown waving in the breeze, and the ground below littered with all different shapes and sizes crunching beneath your well-wrapped feet. The pathway stretches out. You can see the remains of a bygone time if you look closely. The metal rails following you along where munitions were taken from here secretly. I can hear the sea, but it's not in sight. I can imagine the curling waves edging onto the shore, the long sandy beach stretching out far away into the distance, flagged by high banks and leafy bushes. The concrete buildings in the trees covered by years of forest takeover. The wild and free of the forest has covered forgotten relics. The lake stretches out and touches the base of the tree edges. I can see the fish milling about, darting this way and that. Serene, calm, beautiful. That is what I see from this weather-beaten bench. I could just sit here all day, you know, daydreaming, letting my mind wander. Wonderful, calm. Here comes the fun, hurtling around the corner at 100 miles an hour, all shiny, excited, raring to jump into the clear, icy water, tails wagging, noses into the air, paddling on through. The stick lingering halfway in, tempting them to deliver. Wet droplets reach me as they do a little dance left to right. Delighted children throw the stick again. The ripples, the surface send in circles of rhythm. It's time to move on through the shingle down to the pathway cross. The left bears green grass and tiny winding pathways back into the forest beyond. And the right, a sandy concrete pathway down to the golden beach that frames the sea. So, which way should I go today? How do I want to lose myself in this world of infinite beauty, immerse myself in nature's playground? So I will leave you now on this fine autumn day, the light breeze singeing your hair, your eyes alight with the glow of the day, and your mind full of nature's pathway.
Leaving behind the holy, unholy, hurly-burly, I espy haven heaven, heaving into view. My bulwark, bulky body, whip it quick, twixt diminutive schisms in swish, swing doors. Soon ensconced am I amongst quaffed coffee quaffers, within a bohemian emporium's environs. clock that quixotic cliques, click-clacking crockery, and clunky-chunky mugs thunk. Melodic music's soporific lyrics poetically paint an esoteric mosaic. Whisks whiz in dizzy tandem with pandemonium. Sibilant hisses, synchronicity suffuses this symphony. Percussive chitter-chatter and clattered buttery cutlery's metallic clatter compete to complete a cracking onomatopoetic soundtrack. Sanguine baristas entranced by dint of nuanced glances, wonky winks, and wacky repartee aplenty. Disarming, charming, their rhapsodic sonic tonic is an atomic balm. Maudlin men saunter ever closer to the counter, wanting an enchanting encounter with a belladonna stunner. Witness an exquisite symbiosis, since whining diners hanker for salubrious shops, posh-nosh, while they need to bleed our flashed cash. Nectarous cornucopias of ostentations, concoctions are arrayed, proffered here in culinary utopia, where euphoria forges to the fore. Seemingly unseemly, steamy fantasy resides inside capped cups contenting contents. Febrile resistance to richly aromatic appeal, pales, palls, fails, falls, fields frail, foil fragile, fully futile. Aptly appetizing aperitifs appear on specious offer. 'Tis the sumptuous, scrumptious melange, uncompromisingly comprising more Moorish amuse-bouches. Faddy foodies instantly surrender to tip-top, tasty, toasty temptation, then subsequently succumb to succulent suckers' olfactory allure. Ambrosian scents, nascent ascent, sends senses nearer Narnia nirvana. Delectable decadence, indulgence, and indolence elicit, deliciously illicit frisson. Tantalizing titbits portend splendiferous repasts, sublimely savoury beauties which bewitch. Lumpen chumps champ at the bit to chomp like a chimp. Some become unbecoming, emphatically emetic. Captured by rapture, gorgeous, lollop to gollop, gorgeous dollops. Messy many, smush, much, munched, mulch, mushy morsels amidst mucky mushes. Utterly gluttonous, Gesler grotesques, guzzle, grizzle, and obsess about access to glutinous excess. Yet I enjoin thee to join me and enjoy. Up to stop, slop, sup, slurp, souped up super soups, soupçons. Shirking, smirking, scoff, toffs, broths, froth. How luscious its elixir. Audaciously voracious bee, cheek by cowl, with a rapacious rest of those boggling, hobgoblins. Vicariously avaricious, forever ravenous, slaver over, salver, silver, saliva slathered slivers.
In tears, the dead are twice dead. Abandoned graveyard. Outside my new window, an ancient tall tree, chopped for firewood. Fallen from heaven, dropped by a bird, a walnut shell. Invisible in the shower, tears. I spend lockdown learning Welsh. Vixen saunters over, climbs the wall, stalks fat balls hanging from the bird table. Every morning she comes to see what's to eat. Blackbird embryos fallen from the nest, worms, a vole burrowing in the long grass, ears pricked for the slightest rustling, her heavy tits dangling. Vixen returns with evening. She brings her cub, climbs the old ash tree. Her cub plays beneath our window. She stares at me through the double glazing. Her cub, can I? Capers past. Its fiery pelt brushes the window pane. A week passes. I look out from my study window into the field across the road. Not one, but two cubs in the long grass. Mae cadnoes yn y cae, mae dau gennau yn y cae, mae cadnoaid yn y cae. In the field, Vixen's two cubs frolic, a skulk of foxes.
The taps in our bathroom are too hot or too cold, either freezing your fingers or giving you a scald. The cold tap is rigidly always the same, just too cold to be comfortable, I always complain. The hot tap can start off cold sometimes, then suddenly the water will heat up as a surprise. The shower, however, is always just right. Temperatures mix, never put up a fight. Why won't the taps in the bathroom do the same, finding a perfect balance like it's not a game? I've tried moving my hands between the cold and the hot, but the change is too rapid, the shock is a lot. I've tried putting a plug in and mixing the hot and the cold, but the plug is too small, so the water won't hold. I've tried using a bowl and adding cold to the hot, but for water and hands, there simply is not. One day the taps will be fixed or replaced, but these things take time, can't do them in haste. Finding the perfect balance is a difficult task. Sometimes expert help is needed, a plumber I'll ask. But for now, I'll keep on using taps that are too cold or too hot. Perfectly imperfect, I'll live with what I've got.
I'm 3 miles from the horizon. There are 140 million square miles of ocean on this planet. Salt water covers 71% of the Earth's surface. I skim the face. The average depth of the ocean is 2.5 miles, and at its deepest is over 7 miles. I move above all depths. The world's oceans mask the world's largest mountain range at 40,000 miles long. The world's highest underwater mountain, Challenger, is 1 mile taller than Everest. I am a mountaineer. I am a traveller of space and time. The volume of the Pacific Ocean is the same as the volume of the moon. I am the first man on the moon. The horizon is mine. I am infinite, and infinity is in me. I am the faulty chronometer. I have stalled within the space-time continuum. I am the perpetually stationary wave, waiting to meet the shore, waiting to be pushed on by gravity and the moon. I look to the moon for change, only to see the past. I am some time from the horizon, but the closer I get, the further it shifts. On my face, I show nothing but meaningless numerals. The closer I move to the speed of light, the slower I move in the speed of time. I am wavering and erratic. My hands drive on hopelessly through banal groups of 60 and 12. I miss a beat. It costs a day. Each unique stroke is repeated to infinity. I am infinity, and infinity is me. I am 3 miles from the horizon. The circumference of the Earth is 24,901 miles. I am 24,901 miles from here. I am the equator. The rotational speed of the Earth is 1,038 miles an hour. My place in the universe shifts at 1,038 miles an hour. I break all speed records. I am 3 miles from the edge of the world. At my current speed, I will fall off into forever in a matter of minutes. My course has been determined by the route and course set out by the nautical prophets of the Admiralty. As I slide off the edge of the world, I will see creation in reverse. I will see its workings and its underside. I see the underside of the circuit board, the corroded solder joints. Looking down, I will see the pit of forever. Gravity will hold me no more. My fall will be infinite. I am at the horizon. I've reached the end of the road, the end of the line, the end of. I go no further. I've reached the immovable, ever-moving, never-ending, infinite spatial paradox. I am at one. I have fixed the chronometer. I have set the time. I am the balance wheel that ensures the changing nature of the sea and the ship's motion does not affect the standard of time. I am a standard time. I am apparent solar time, solar mean time. I am sidereal time. I am the prime meridian, universal time. I have shifted the zones. I, the cosmic mind, have explored the labyrinths of the sea. I have counted and measured the waves and explored the depths. I have counted the grains of sand on the shores of time. I am the quantifier of all human life. If the waves could roll in reverse for 243 days and return me to Teignmouth, I would be hundreds of miles from this horizon. I have become my own disbelief.
It woke me like a crack of thunder in the middle of the night. The realization of here we go again. But this time it's different. How, you might ask? Well, we know so much more. We know to connect. We know to get talking. We know to keep talking. We know to enjoy the little things. We know to reach out. Reach out. Reach out when you are low. Reach out when you feel kind. Reach out and tell your story. Because your story is important. You are important.
It's the 29th of June, 1940. A whistling sound I didn't find frightening. I said, "What is it, Mammy, thunder and lightning?" Then the explosion, a rude awakening, plaster falling and windows breaking. A bomb in the garden, that was near. A few yards closer and we wouldn't be here. The Luftwaffe were attacking our town. A string of bombs was raining down. The first a bomb on Tidrow Hill, a direct hit, I can picture it still. Half a house exposed and bare. All we could do was stand and stare. Then Oakwood Street, a shed blown up like a snowflake, leaving a crater the size of Harvey's Lake. The next landed near the Grand Hotel. No damage there, just as well. The railway station yard and the dock. The railway sidings also taking a knock. The bomber, his deadly load all spilled. Thankfully that night no one was killed. Turned his plane for home, dodging searchlights so deft, not caring about the devastation that he'd left.
The tinsel was oscillating in the hot air. Pine needles was tumbling to the floor as each party-goer went to retrieve their gifts. Birds hum, chitter-chatter, inane conversation. As ever, I heard a voice. "Oh my goodness, who gave you those?" Craning my neck, I tried to see what the comment was all about. Marlene the Nose had spotted, no, perhaps made a point to ogle Prenella's gift. Prenella, the plump prude, was her nickname, tried to conceal her gift, but unsuccessfully. She was bright red with embarrassment, and tears ran down her chubby cheeks. Someone had given her nipple tassels in bright pink, 2 matching thongs together with pink garters and black stockings. Poor Prunella was bereft, especially when the men and the majority of women started to snigger. She grabbed her provocative undies and ran from the party, slamming the door behind her. The merry atmosphere became momentarily subdued, but soon awakened when the door opened and Prunella strutted in to the utter amazement of the party, wearing her Christmas gift, moving like a fine-tuned belly dancer. Sitting quietly in the corner by the shedding tree was Albert, a bespectacled, diminutive man. "Oh, Prunella," he cried, "you are so brave and beautiful. Let's leave this party and have our own special Christmas cash bar. You see, there is nothing wrong with being plump. It is the insults and the innuendos that hurt." Someone was out to openly upset Prunella. Little did they know that she had been a professional belly dancer. The only time she actually performed was for Albert, her special man.
A young girl, never still, one place to the next, Gibraltar, Barry, London to Cambridge, Aberystwyth. No one and nowhere could contain her, not boarding school. Retired at 70 and a lover of people, endless work, courts, prisons, sat silently, the floor, a men's prison, connecting to those behind bars just to hear their story. Never for money, just for passion. A young girl, a hate for dolls, a love for playing outdoors with the boys, the war, the wonder. She played, she ran, no books available, but a Christmas brought one. A dream comes true. Bombs drop, competitions commenced. Who could collect the best shrapnel? Years go by, time flies, but her love for memories and stories will not die.
It's weird to rejoice in a man's death, to listen to a voice saying, he's dead. We should be sorrowing as someone passes, but this is a harrowing process. This infamous person, abuser, predator, gave us an horrific lesson in how to murder. The moors, the graveyard as he travelled across, while people mourned hard their personal loss. Much effort was spent trying to understand a mind so bent abusing the land. Eventually, a breakthrough. Confession then sought. Graves, more than the few, displayed, more grief was wrought. His sentence was life incarceration. For such unremitting strife, insufficient consolation.
Brilliant.
Now death closes the case many years later. Both culprits paid the price for being a predator.
People speak up, help change my life, giving me the confidence to speak my mind. A place of freedom to just be me, a supportive environment that we all need. Story, care and share touches my soul, hearing all the creativity grow. Community spirit at its best, coming together shows great strength. Transformation towards better health. Wisdom and knowledge is handed down to the seekers and finders in every town. Rooted in the rhythms of nature, energy flows through the cosmos to the vital force. Interconnected and synchronized, allowing individuals to grow. It's a magical, mysterious miracle to be told.
Christmas holiday is on the way. Even there's a COVID in December, but Holy Spirit is still coming. You have a great time at this year, December. As long as you and the family is safe from COVID.
Nighttime prowler skirting the perimeter, midnight howler growling in the dark. Broken down chapel and a sinister minister, slinging sulphate in the alley where the hound dogs bark. Electric shock jukebox, skip full of syringes, scattered confusion at the end of the day. Witch-hunted lies, exile and a lynching, everywhere heavy with the smell of decay. We gate-crashed Eden and ended up in hell, working the steps one day at a time. When it's harder to buy, it's harder to sell. The bigger the fortune, the bigger the crime. We partied all night but got shattered on the rebound. The volume cranked all the way up to heaven. It seems a long time ago now, but just turn around and it's standing at the corner just like it was then. And there's one road to glory with no tickets to sell. And the horsemen are riding back home in the dark, too early to hear the clang of the bell, too early to hear the song of the lark. And here's a spit for the swallow, a spit for the crow, a spit for the children you didn't want to know, a spit in the dust to make up the clay, a spit in your eye at the end of the day. The house is red and full of radiation. The virus is crawling all around your door. You're going to need some pills and a spot of medication and maybe a visit to the liquor store. And the nighttime prowler is consulting his solicitor. The midnight rambler is scared of the dark. The broken down chapel is a speculative investment sold for $4 million to a Russian oligarch. These were the things that weren't supposed to happen. These were the beggars that beggared belief. We made an agreement to liquidate the faction, and you swore you wouldn't bring in the police. Empty threats in the corridors of power. Tremors so faint you don't feel them at all. We watched the waves gather from the tall black tower, and the ocean was rising like a great grey shawl. Times like these are the ruptures in history, the rip in the curtain, the crack in the wall. And through the little cracks, the ocean comes pounding. Who can say where the water will fall?
Lockdown. I put on my shock frown. There's no one in town. That's why I'm so down. What can I do now? Who knows why or how? Where to now? I can't go out, so what can I do? I wish I knew. Can I help me? Can I help you? Just give me a clue about what to do, about where to go, about my life, about my flow. Is this a show? How would I know? So just let me go back to the flow, back to the show, back to what I know, back before we knew about this too, the COVID show. It must now go so we can live our lives. So back we go into our flow.
And in that cocoon of imaginative play, I ducked and dove under the water's glutinous surface, turning upside down, my wings fluttering, my claws ready to pierce that shell inside which I floated. Before I knew you were there, before I knew what you were, before I knew I was there, before I knew anything. And in that cocoon of metamorphosis, in that amniotic fluid, green translucent light held me, and I could see through veined skin a world from which you could appear to impinge on my silent evolution, my tentative pseudopodia retreating from your impending advance. A vital dance, a dance of vitality, because I am alive and coming into being. No, do not stretch out towards me. I am not yet ready to open myself to your approach, because I am not yet me. And you are not yet you in my awareness, though soon I will break free and the chrysalis will crack. I am dormant no more. I am becoming. And your oh, so tender movement pressing me for a response. And in response, I turn upside down. I want to play. But She's coming up the stairs. My heart is thumping. My pseudopodia retract. My claws lie silent, quiescent, till she has passed by. My leaves quivering, tiny filaments fluttering, buds closed tight. And yet, in this archaic space, this primordial sac, I grow restless. The juices quicken, the enzymes soften, the chrysalis cracks, exuvia fall away, thin scales of skin fragmented and discarded, my wings hardening in the cool, warm air. Imago born, and that place where I did not know who I was or even that I was, and nor that you were. That now is gone. And as I attach myself to a new harbour, where your voice calls me, your inaudible decibels summon me and entice me, and I hear you, as if you have always been there, and the grief of absence, the grief that you were not there before, that I did not, could not yet know you, that grief quivers, retracts, lets go, and I fly towards your tender movement.